Good morning. So today I'm going to talk about a question that just came in overnight, and this is from Vernon in the USA. That's all he says, because it actually came by email, and I believe that this is somebody who's just signed up, subscribed to either the YouTube channel or to my newsletters. Anyway, hi Brian. Thanks for your efforts doing the daily YouTube updates. I'm a believer in your philosophy and appreciate your whole team at Easy Swing. Thank you, Vernon. My question has to do with La Danse. Subject near to my heart. Throughout Positive Impact Golf, the movement is described and displayed in an almost completely upright position. That's how I do the movement daily. However, on the course, using short irons, the feeling is different. Should we also be doing La Danse in the same posture used when hitting shorter clubs? Thanks in advance for your help. Very respectfully, Vernon. Well, thank you, Vernon. It's a great question, and it's one that I know a lot of people have asked, although I haven't had any questions this particular round. Before I answer, see, as a golf pro and a golf coach, you can't talk much without swinging, so I'm just going to get my voice loosened up by having one or two of these, because I've done my exercises but I actually haven't done any of this morning, so I just need to remind myself, okay, so yes, I'm standing totally upright and I'm doing that Danse du Golf, and what a wonderful feeling compared with what I'm going to show you in a minute. Okay, so this is the feeling, and I've got all those basics that we talk about. Particularly, we've got the rotation, we're turning, shifting our weight from foot to foot. It's good rhythm, good balance, good coordination, because everything is moving together, every part of my body is playing a part in this. And of course, la souplesse, it feels totally relaxed, and actually it's even relaxing to do. One of the major things that I find with the way people react to this is, oh yes, it's simple, I know how to do that, let's move on. And it's the repetition of that really accumulates so much benefit. You can't do it too much, and in most things in life we can do them too much. We can do them to excess and give ourselves new problems. You can't do this too much. So now, when I've got a driver in my hand and I'm standing on the tee with a more upright stance than I would have done in the old days, I can reproduce more or less the same thing. So let's see if I can reproduce that feeling. Hold it for 5 seconds, Brian. Okay. As a coach, you say do as I do, not as I say. Anyway, or something like that, probably the reverse. So yes, I'm relating this very strongly to how I swing a golf club. And when I get on the golf course, if I've been doing this many times, I'm primed to have that same feeling. And the art now is to translate it into different situations, different lengths of clubs. We've actually talked on one of these video chats about the one length clubs, and I'm very encouraged and interested to pursue that, because with those shorter clubs I've always felt awkward. I have a longer putter because I don't feel so awkward, but do I have longer wedges? No, why not? So if I can get more ease, then I can approach more to La Danse du Golf in my golf swing. Of course, if we go to the tour player posture, and please, I was the leader of that in the UK from 1975 onwards. So I know all about that. I worked on it. I actually taught it to loads of people. Apologies to anybody who's watching who suffered that. So, of course, the tour player posture, rather than being here, which is easy on my body and easy on all my joints, the more I do this, and the medics amongst you will know about this, the physiotherapists and anybody with body knowledge, that the more I do this, each joint, each tendon, each muscle, particularly in here, is getting tighter and tighter and tighter. And now to make anything that resembles this is very difficult. But the way we learn is by setting parameters. Okay, we can't do that too much. Can we do it in a too relaxed a fashion? Don't think so. Can we play golf too relaxed? Don't see many people do that. So I suppose people say, oh yeah, Danse du Golf, and easiest swing and then putting back off. It's, if only people could get anywhere near that. So the job of a coach is to give people options and set some parameters, because most people are stuck in the way they do it. And we now know that they're mainly stuck in that because of their belief system, what they've been taught, what's been drilled into them. Okay, so that's why if you read my book again and look at the photos, we do this, and then we say, okay, now can we do that with your left arm out in front of you, keeping it straight. Okay, yes, I can do it, but does it feel the same? No, it's starting to feel tighter and more awkward. Okay, and how about if we do that and don't move our feet? Oh yes, oh, it's beginning to tug on my spine. Yes, and that tension, that coiling process that I'm going through now, it's a little bit like this. This which is nice and loose and relaxed, and suddenly it's getting more and more like that. And as things get more and more like that, tension and the authority of Dr. Joe Upton, who's a top hand surgeon in America, many years of experience, knows the whole body intimately, and he said, Brian, tension damages joints. And he was taught this way, the 3 deadly don'ts. And at the age of about, well, he must have been late 60s when he made the change. And to see him hit a golf ball now is brilliant. So he actually said to me, he now understands that what he was taught was creating tension, and that damages joints. And he's the guy with 2 new knees and 2 new hips. And then we add, okay, so you got the arms straight, you got the head still, sorry, the feet still, and now let's have the head still. Well, is that a golf swing? I can't get my arm any further back than that. Oh, just as a quick aside, people think that I'm supple because I've got this golf swing. Just watch, and I'm now going to get the palm of my hands on the ground as you would expect. But I have never got nearer the floor than that. I can't get my fingertips within that far. I'm stiff joint, I am not at all supple. It's my philosophy on the golf swing which has all the suppleness, or la souplesse. So that's why in the book there are those photos. So do it, feel it. Cool, yes. And if I try to complete my backswing like that, bing, I'm going to start popping discs and all sorts of damage to my body. And of course, if I've got a weakness somewhere in my body, all of that tension will tend to go there and aggravate it. So it's all about this. This is what they say. You've got to get this elasticity and stretch it like a spring, and then when it comes back with all the power in the world. Well, I've been playing golf for 52 years now, and I've tried that, and I'm still waiting for it to bring me those marvellous results. And it still can be difficult. I do understand this. It can be difficult to make a golf swing like this and think, no, that can't work. Where's the power? And this, of course, because of the physical effort, this clever brain of ours, which sometimes isn't so clever, it says, yeah, oh yeah, give me, oh Christ, that's powerful. Look at how hard I'm working. And this one, he says, no, you don't get anything in this world without hard work. Well, I'm afraid you do. And that's a very interesting concept that you might like to take into other parts of your life. So we're setting options, and one of them is this. Well, that's one extreme, and the other extreme is that. And the point is that good coaching gives people options, helps them to feel the consequences of those things, and says, you're the boss, you choose. And who would ever want to if you said that to a group of beginners, and I've done that many times, and you go through that process, and then you say, okay, so you've got Danse du Golf and you've got the traditional method, which you want to learn. Nobody, and I've done that thousands and thousands of times, nobody's ever said to me, oh yes, I prefer to be stiff and tight. Your teachers want you to be stiff and tight because they don't trust you to move and be relaxed. I'm sorry, sometimes we have to talk the plain truth. Teachers don't trust you. I believe that as a coach my duty is to trust you, is to trust the fact that you have potential, you have more ability. It's in there. My job is to help you get it out, and usually it's a question of taking barriers away, because the barriers imposed by the arm, the head, and many others. There are many misconceptions in this game. So just to talk to you a little bit about options. So as we go through life we learn, and let's say for example that as a kid it's your parents say, okay, come on, jump in the swimming pool, and you're thinking, ooh, it could be a bit cold, if you're like me, because I'm a bit of a wimp. So I go and I touch the water, probably put my back out at the same time, even then. It's freezing, so I put my so I'm not going to jump in now. So I'll stand at the edge of the pool hesitating until probably one of my mates pushes me in. Yes, I've got friends like that as well. But let's imagine that water was, when you touched it, it was absolutely freezing. So cold, in fact, that you'd be worried that it could do me some harm. Especially as we get older, isn't it? Go in now, I'll have a heart attack. And then at the same time, you go to the swimming pool one day and steam's coming off and it's bubbling, and you think, so you dare put your toe in it, sure, it burns you. But for some reason, the heating system that normally gives you this lovely temperature to swim in, it's gone berserk overnight, and you've now got boiling water. Well, would you jump in? Of course you wouldn't. So those are parameters. It's too hot or it's too cold. And when I test things through knowledge and experience, I'll say, oh yes. And who could tell you what is the right temperature for you? Only you are the person who can say, oh yeah, I can now dive in. That's comfortable. Some people love it cold. I have my landlord and landlady here who are absolutely brilliant, lovely people. They swim in that nearly every day. It's cold in midsummer. In the middle of the winter, you wouldn't get me in there. Anyway, we won't go into that too much. So a coach will give you options and hopefully help you to feel. And I think this is where easy swing is, and easy swing coaching is quite different from your experience of most teaching or even coaching, because we question you, we find out what your beliefs are, we can see what's going wrong in your golf swing quite soon, because that's our job. But now we need to find out why, and it's the questions and finding out the beliefs, which is why the best question in the world is, how would you teach a beginner? That helps people to offload a lot of the information they've got in their mind, because one of the problems with beliefs is that we don't really remember that we have them, that they're so deep in us that they are driving us. So you give people options, then you give them something, you challenge their beliefs, get them to do things. Oh, I've got to keep my eye on the ball. Okay, try hitting it with your eyes closed. Oh, I'd miss it. Well, have a go. Oh, I hit it. Behind me. I started doing this in 1985, and I did it with any beginner I had. And I did it from young to middle-aged to even quite old people, ladies for example, who came to me and said, well, I've never played sport in my life, I won't be any good at golf. Okay. And I got them to the ball with their eyes shut, and I was so encouraged by this because it worked, that I got them to hit it like this, and then doing that and with their eyes shut. And they're wobbling all over the place, but they could hit the ball. Didn't always hit it perfectly, but they could get the clubhead to hit the ball. And if you can get the clubhead to hit the ball, even if it's not on the right part, you're not far from the middle. So, and of course the confidence that gives people that, oh, I can move, and I don't have to stare down the ball all the time. So it liberates them. And for me, the duty of a coach is, with beginners, is to make sure they don't go down that slippery slope. So, okay, let's get back to the theme. So when I'm playing a lot of golf shots, I am leaning over a little bit, but I have this big feeling that I've got from all the practice I've done with our Danse du Golf, and so I'm now, all I want to do is reproduce that or get as near to it as I can. And when I've got those short shots, it is more difficult. So looking at the one length club, longer pitching clubs, longer 8, 9 wedge, sand wedge definitely a good idea. And then of course we do have a situation of slopes, and there is one video that I do on slopes, and I'll attach the link to that at the end. And if you are, I measured this the other day, if you're outside of a bunker with your feet but the ball's inside the bunker and you've got to be down here, well, you can't do a dance to golf. What you have to do is do the best you can to swing the club, but you can't move as fully and freely, so you have to compromise, take an easier club and just chip it out. There are times when that's the best course of action, and when you do it, the little thing up in the brain starts saying, are you a mouse or a man? And you have to say, well, in this situation I think I prefer to be a mouse. Hope that helps, Vernon. So do this and then learn to translate it into the different shots. And yes, a slight adaptation to your posture, which might have been like this, and I find too many older people standing too far away from the ball. So I would say closer and taller, so that the distance between your sternum and the ball is the same. Okay, so if we just stand closer, then we're cramped up. So closer and taller, and we've taken all the pressure off our lower back, our hips, our knees, and we've given ourselves every possibility of moving in a relaxed manner. Hope that helps. More questions and answers in a couple of days. Thanks for joining me.